And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, Live 365 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And I'm on 405 Media Radio from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. You can call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. On today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Now today, my expert contributor is Ray Mailer with his continuing series, The American Grid. Ray just got back from vacation, so I have no idea what he's going to talk about, but I can guarantee you it'll be interesting and it'll be informative. My special guest today, Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless. He'll be talking about new wireless news. There's lots of stuff going on in the wireless world, and he's going to be telling us about the new deals that are good for you and good for me and good for everybody. But right now, I want you to stand by for news. But before that, at 4:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? I promised you the news. Let's get to the news. That's what we got a lot of it, as a matter of fact. Here's an AP exclusive for you. The UN to let Iran inspect alleged nuke work site. I can't believe this. Iran will be allowed to use its own inspectors to investigate a site that it has been accused of using to develop nuclear arms, operating under a secret agreement with the United Nations, an agency that normally carries out such work, according to a document seen by the Associated Press. The revelation today, newly riled Republican lawmakers in the U.S. who have been severely critical of a broader agreement to limit Iran's future nuclear programs, signed by Obama administration, Iran, and 5 other world powers in July. Those critics have complained that the wider deal is unwisely built on trust of the Iranians, while the administration has insisted it depends on reliable inspections. A skeptical House Speaker, John Boehner, said, President Obama boasts his deal includes unprecedented verification. He claims it's not built on trust, but the administration's briefing on these side deals have been totally insufficient, and it still isn't clear whether anyone at the White House has seen the final documents. Said House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Ed Royce, international inspections should be done by international inspectors, period. The newly disclosed site agreement for an investigation of the Parchin nuclear site by the UN's International Atomic Energy Agency is linked to persistent allegations that Iran has worked on atomic weapons. That investigation is part of the overreaching nuclear limits deal. Evidence of the inspection's concession is sure to increase pressure from the United States congressional opponents before a Senate vote of disapproval on the overall agreement in early September. If the resolution passes and President Barack Obama vetoes it, opponents would need a 2/3 majority to override it. Even Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Republican, has suggested opponents will likely lose a veto fight, though that was before today's disclosure. Well, you know what? I don't know about you. That just incenses me, makes me mad. I'm pretty sure that I'll be talking about that tonight on John Matthews' show, The Conservative Syndicate. If you want to listen to it, I'll be on there about 6:15 tonight, and it's theconservativesyndicate.net, and we'll be dealing some more with that. We'll be dealing with the Greece fiasco that's going on, and we'll also be talking about what conservatism really is. So if you want to hear that, go to John's show tonight, theconservativesyndicate.net, and I'll be there live. Well, up next, Fogel to plead guilty to sex acts with minors and child porn. Longtime Subway pitchman Jared Fogel agreed today to plead guilty to allegations that he paid for sex acts with minors and received child pornography in a case that destroyed his career at the sandwich shop chain and could send him to prison for more than a decade. Prosecutors allege that Fogel knew the pornography had been secretly produced by the former director of his charitable foundation, which sought to raise awareness about childhood obesity and arranged for Fogel to visit schools and urge children to adopt healthy eating and exercise habits. Authorities said Fogel offered to pay adult prostitutes a finder's fee if they could connect him with minors for sex acts, including some as young as 14 or 15 years old. This is about using wealth, status, and secrecy to illicitly exploit children, U.S. Attorney Joss Minkler said. I don't even know what to say about this. A tight-lipped Fogel sat in federal court with his hands clasped and quietly answered no when the judge asked whether he had any questions about his rights. He's expected to enter the formal plea at a later date to one count each of traveling to engage in illicit sexual conduct with a minor and distribution and receipt of child pornography. I don't even want to tell you what I think should happen to this guy. And you probably all agree with me, but man, I just got no sense for it. Well, the Islamic State beheads an aging Syrian antiquities scholar in Palmyra. They're at it again. The 81-year-old antiquities scholar had dedicated his life to exploring and overseeing Syria's ancient ruins in Palmyra, one of the Middle East's most spectacular archaeological sites. He even named his daughter after Zenobia, the queen that ruled from the city 1,700 years ago. That dedication may have cost him his life. Today, relatives and witnesses said Khalid al-Assad was beheaded by Islamic State militants, his bloodied body hung on a pole in a main square. Antiquities officials said they believed the Islamic State militants had interrogated al-Assad, a longtime director of the site, trying to get him to divulge where authorities had hidden treasures secreted out of Palmyra before the extremists seized the ruins last spring. The brutal killing stunned Syria's archaeological community and underscored fears the extremists would destroy or loot the 2,000-year-old Roman-era city on the edge of a modern town of the same name, as they have other modern archaeological sites in Syria and Iraq. We've lost not just a scholar of archaeology, but one of the pillars of archaeology in the 20th century, said Ahmad Ferzat Taraji, a 56-year-old antiquities expert and friend of the victim. I'll tell you, I think Donald Trump's got the right idea. If we ought to just send these guys just one or two weapons that they really need, a couple of atom bombs. I don't really understand it. There's only about 20,000 of these Islamic State militants, only 20,000 of them. We wouldn't have to send that many soldiers to get rid of them. Matter of fact, we wouldn't have to send any. We could just send some drones and just be done with those guys. That's how I feel about it. Anyway, don't go away. When we have a commercial break we got to take, but when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about scientists find how obesity gene works. A clue to the treatment. You're not going to want to miss this. We'll be right back. You know what? I'm telling you, this is good stuff. We'll be right back. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And here we are, back to the news. Scientists find out how obesity gene works. It's a clue to treatment. Scientists have finally figured out how the key gene tied to obesity makes people fat, a major discovery that could open the door to an entirely new approach to the problem beyond diet and exercise. The work solves a big mystery. Since 2007, researchers have known that a gene called FTO was related to obesity, but they didn't know how and could not tie it to appetite or other known factors. Now, experiments reveal that a faulty version of the gene causes energy from food to be stored as fat rather than burned. Genetic tinkering in mice and on human cells in the lab suggests this can be reversed, giving hope that a drug or other treatment might be developed to do the same thing in people. The work was led by scientists at MIT and Harvard University and published online today by the New England Journal of Medicine. The discovery challenges the notion that when people get obese, it was basically their own choice because they chose to eat too much or not exercise, said a study leader, Melina Klausnitzer, a genetic specialist at Harvard-affiliated Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. For the first time, genetics has revealed a mechanism in obesity that was not really suspected before and gives a third explanation or factor that's involved. Independent experts praised the discovery. It's a big deal, said Dr. Clifford Rosen, a scientist at Maine Medical Center Research Institute and an associate editor at the Medical Journal. A lot of people think the obesity epidemic is all about eating too much, but our fat cells play a role in how food gets used, he said. With this discovery, you now have a pathway for drugs that can make those fat cells work differently. Several obesity drugs are already on the market, but they're generally used for short-term weight loss and are aimed at the brain and appetite. They don't directly target metabolism. This is going to be a big deal, folks. Just, mark my word. This is going to be a big deal. Well, Israel suspends detention of Palestinian hunger striker. Israel's Supreme Court today suspended the detention order against a Palestinian prisoner who has been on a hunger strike for 65 days, releasing him while he receives medical care in a ruling that his relatives and supporters hailed as a victory. The decision means that Mohammed Allen, will no longer be shackled to his bed, and his family will be able to visit him in the hospital, where his lawyer said he remains sedated and unconscious. The court's action did little to resolve a debate over Israel's practice of holding suspects without charge, known as administrative detention, or a new law that permits the forced feeding of hunger strikers. Before he fell unconscious on August the 14th, Allen had appeared set to be the first test of the law. Since then, he has been given fluids and nutritional supplements while the case went to court, although those treatments were not considered to be force feeding. After a long day of deliberations, the Supreme Court announced that Allen, who doctors say has suffered some brain damage, would remain hospitalized, but that his administrative detention was suspended. You know what? This is crazy stuff. We've got so much crud going on in the world today. I just don't understand it. And if it's not if it's not the rest of the world lying to us, it's our own legislators lying to us. But I don't want to get into that. But if you want to hear me really vent, then join me tonight when I'm on John Matthews' show, The Conservative Syndicate. I'll be on there about 6:15 tonight. Just go to theconservativesyndicate.net, and you're going to hear me vent. And I mean, I'm really going to vent. I'm so upset with politics in the United States. It's business as usual. They just keep lying to us like we're just open-faced suckers. Well, how about this in 1 hour ago from a prosecutor? Mom, not legal system, to blame in son's deaths. A mother accused of killing her 3 sons was dominated and isolated by her husband, a man nearly twice her age who had been her own mother's live-in boyfriend before they married, authorities said today. Investigators believe Brittany Peekington used each boy's comfort blanket to suffocate them in their crib or bed over the last 13 months because she wanted her husband to pay more attention to herself and their 3-year-old daughter, Logan County Prosecutor William Gosley said. Pinkington, 23 years old, is jailed on murder charges in all 3 deaths, including her 3-month-old son, Noah, who died yesterday, less than a week after he was returned from protective custody on a judge's order. Well, you know what? This just nauseates me. It sickens me, the things that are going on in our world today. You would think that this world would have changed. I can guarantee you this. The world we live in today isn't near as nice and fruitful as the world I grew up in. I'm sorry that my children and my grandchildren are not going to get to live in the kind of a world that I grew up in. One where you're proud to not only be a citizen of the United States, but a citizen of the world, where morals and ethics were something different. This is just going nowhere. I do the news every day, and every day I almost want to choke on it. Well, speaking of the news, this came in today. Police hunt foreigner in deadly bombing of Bangkok shrine. A police manhunt was underway today for an unidentified foreign man shown in a security video leaving a backpack at a popular Bangkok shrine just minutes before a bomb exploded there. 2 other people seen on the video near the man are also considered suspects in Monday's deadly bombing, police said. Authorities released a sketch of the man who left behind the backpack and offered a 1 million baht, that's about $28,000, reward for information leading to his arrest. But apart from the rough portrait, they had few solid leads in Monday's bombing at the Erawan shrine that killed 20 people and wounded 120 others. The grainy security video shows the man wearing a yellow T-shirt and shorts sitting down on a bench at the shrine, taking off a black backpack and leaving it behind as he stands up and walks away. Timestamps show that he left the shrine 15 minutes before the explosion, which struck just before 7 p.m. Now, don't go away. We're going to talk about some more exciting things. We're going to raise your feelings here with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, right after these brief messages. Don't go away. The rest of the show is going to be happy stuff. We'll be right back. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS Loses. You know, just before we went on a break, I announced that we were going to be with our own Dr. Wireless, and my producer texted me and says, no, we're not. We're doing the IRS Loses. I don't know how I got a hold of myself, but we will be with Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless, in about 10 minutes, so don't go away. Let's get started on today's The IRS Loses. Sends chills up and down my spine. First case, failure to pay taxes was not willful. Here's the deal. A business owner who owed back taxes declared bankruptcy, but the IRS said that his non-payment was willful because he had improved his home and bought a luxury car while his tax bill mounted. So it could not be discharged. He went to court, get some satisfaction, some justice. This is what the judge said. The individual had income of more than $1 million and owned $5 million of stock on margin when the stock market crashed. And then the recession suddenly wiped out his stocks and cut his business income by 75%. He had committed to the personal expenditures earlier and had mistakenly believed that he could deduct his stock losses to offset his tax bill. There was no evidence of any wrongful attempt to avoid the taxes, so they are dischargeable. Shame on you, IRS. You just try to take undue advantage of those people that you think won't fight you back. Here's another case the IRS lost. Must pay for delaying a refund. You're going to like this one. Dino Crisanti entered an installment agreement with the IRS to pay taxes owed by a business that he had purchased and abided by the agreement. But the IRS seized a $17,000 refund owed to him anyhow. Now, Crisanti went to court to get the refund, and the IRS then paid it. Crisanti then asked to have the IRS pay his legal fees. The IRS answered, the award isn't justified because it had never rejected the refund claim and, in fact, paid it soon after the court ruling. This is what the wise justice of the court said. The IRS sat on the refund for 2 years, giving check is in the mail excuses, and it seemed no coincidence that the refund was granted only after the court filing. Legal fees are awarded. Shame on you, IRS. God, I just can't stand them. You know, here's something for you. The IRS concedes. You've heard me say it many times. They only concede when they're pretty doggone sure that they're not going to prevail in a court case. This is the case here. A company's owner can make restorative payments to a retirement plan. Here's the case. An individual owned one company with 2 retirement plans in which he was the sole participant, and another company that he had many employees in its retirement plan. So here's the snag. The trustee of the latter plan embezzled a large amount from it. Federal regulators said that the owner was a fiduciary of the depleted plan who could face legal action as a result. So the remedy? To avoid government lawsuits, the owner proposed to transfer the assets of his own 2 retirement plans to the depleted plan as a restorative payment. The IRS ruling? The payment is permitted and will not be a contribution to the employee's plan, which would affect its status or their taxes. Now, it is a taxable distribution, but he also gets an offsetting deduction for actually putting it in there. So, you know what? The IRS didn't fight it because they knew they couldn't win it. That's why. That's the real why, folks. Now, you ever want to be a fly on the wall? Well, let's talk about inside the IRS. Okay, now, these are not tax court cases, but these are decisions that the IRS has implemented, and you can use them to your own advantage if the scenario fits, right? Here's the first one. Can you claim additional damages to compensate for the income taxes that you're required to pay on a damage award that you receive? What do you think? Here's the scenario. Suppose you sue for damages for lost profits and win. The lost profits award is taxable, so you argue that you should also receive enough to cover the tax hit. The losing party is going to argue that you would have had to pay those income tax on those profits anyway, so you're not entitled to the extra damages. There's no easy answers here. This is an emerging area in civil law. State law varies, and the nature of the damages are going to control whether you are permitted to ask for extra tax damages. So the best advice we can give you here is discuss this issue with your attorney before actually initiating the lawsuit. You want to make sure that you get all your bases covered. Let me give you one more before we go on our commercial break, and that is let's just say you were audited and the IRS wants to reopen your case. Boy, it's a nightmare, right? But it happens a lot. Only in very unusual circumstances, though, will the IRS attempt to re-audit an individual or a business after a case has actually been closed. Now, to reopen a closed case, the IRS must show that there was fraud, malfeasance, concealment, or misrepresentation of a material fact on your part, or an important mistake in mathematical calculations. How should you proceed if the IRS wants to reopen your case? Do not agree to submit another audit to another audit until the IRS proves that they have copy and proof that you've actually committed a fraud or concealment or something like that. Now, be careful. This is a stipulation that could lead to criminal charges. Be sure to retain an experienced attorney to represent you, even if your accountant handled that first audit. You want to make sure that you're in a good position, and the only way is to make sure that you got yourself protected. Sometimes, a lot of people think that they can represent themselves before the IRS. You know what? That's just a big joke. That is not going to be anything that is going to help you in any way whatsoever. And I mean never, never, never let that happen. Now, don't go away. When we come back, I promise you, this time we'll be with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Man, he has got so many things to talk to you about. It is unbelievable. There's a lot going on in the world today. As far as it comes to wireless technology and the things that are going on. He's told me he's going to talk about Sprint's new iPhone upgrade anytime program and some cool new products like the OnePlus 2, the Black Phone Security smartphone, and BlackBerry. He's going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. I don't even understand most of it, so don't go away. We'll be right back with our own Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless, after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:33 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, man, have we got some news for you. Let's get them in here. strap yourself in, and right now you're going to talk to the one man that knows all you need to know about wireless technology and the deals that are out there for you. Help me welcome to the show our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Hey, Joel. Oh, there it is.
Hey, I thought your cart machine was broken there for a moment. I didn't hear my standing ovation as usual.
You know what? I think they were asleep out there, not thinking I was ever going to put you on. You know, I told them about 10 minutes ago I was going to put you on the air, and then I went to something else because I actually forgot a whole segment of my show.
Yeah, you fooled me too, but we can't forget the IRS. They don't forget us.
Yeah. So, listen, you got a ton of stuff. First of all, before I get into the stuff you want to talk about today, and I announced it already, I just have to know, I mean, with the heat going the way it is, you know, it was last week, it was like 108 over here, 107 over here. It was hot stuff, and I'm guessing by the beach it must have been in the 90s at least. You must have been in surfer heaven.
Yeah, it wasn't quite I was in surfer heaven. It wasn't in the 90s. It's 74 right now. It was about that this morning when I was out, and it was beautiful. The water's unseasonably warm. We've got the El Nino thing working, so the water's almost 74 degrees, which is crazy.
Wow. So, I mean,
beautiful stuff.
Yeah, if you were a meteorologist, you'd be telling me that the signs of El Nino are already showing, so there's a good chance that we might have a decent winter this year.
I would start buying some burlap bags for those sandbags because there's going to be some major rains this winter, like you can't believe.
Oh, boy. Well, you know what? Let's hope the people are ready for it. We don't have damage and losses, and that we were able to preserve some of this water that's going to be coming down.
But you know what? I'm not an aeronautical meteorologist. I'm Dr. Wireless. So let's talk wireless. I got some crazy stuff for you. I don't know if you recall, last week I was saying, Sprint didn't look too good. I actually had a moratorium on recommending Sprint. Mm-hmm. And the reason was, Chairman Masayoshi Son, who is the CEO for SoftBank, Sprint's parent company, was really disillusioned with Sprint as far as, his U.S. investment. And, this was reported in the Wall Street Journal. He had feelers out trying to find a potential buyer. He was sure T-Mobile was going to merge with Sprint when he bought it. So he hasn't been a happy camper. Well, that was last week. This week, he invested $72 million into Sprint. He's bullish on Sprint again. Their stock skyrocketed. They were rated recently in a rating, the Root Metrics carrier ratings. They went from worst to tied in second place with AT&T for call quality. Their data speeds are picking up. So things are looking much better for them. And on top of that, they announced a ridiculous offer. I mean, possibly one of the best offers I've ever heard. And, for those people, that want the latest and greatest iPhone, it's quite remarkable. And I'm going to talk about that. We'll come back to that because there's so much stuff going on, but I'm going to leave that as the hook to maybe keep people with us.
Well,
Not that they want to go
before
anywhere,
you move any
of course.
farther with that, I mean, are you feeling like Sprint is a carrier you would move to because of all the things you've been talking about here?
Absolutely, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you a little teaser. The reason is they still offer unlimited data. Their problem was their speeds were slow and management was shifting and, things weren't looking great. And, when the CEO of your parent company wants to dump you, it's hard to be bullish. But now things are turning around. They're getting great reviews. They came out with a ridiculous deal, and I'm going to tell you why it's great. Because they're offering unlimited if you lease a device. And I was not big, as you recall, on leasing.
Right.
I've changed my tune on that. And the reason I've changed my tune is they just offered a ridiculously good deal. And the deal is this. If you sign up between now and September 10th, they're offering a little better deal than after, but it's still a great deal. It's $75 a month. That's unlimited voice, unlimited text, unlimited 4G data, and that includes a lease of an iPhone 6. Now, that's a pretty good deal, but here's what's great about it. On September 9th, when they launched the 6S, let's say you want one, You just contact me. I make arrangements. You send back the old one after we ship you the new one. No cost. You upgrade your iPhone anytime they come out with a new iPhone.
Wow.
So this is perfect for people. Sprint's doing this because they no longer have contracts. So they're going to bind you because they're the only carrier that's going to give you a new iPhone for the asking every time one comes out. And they have the unlimited data. So worst case scenario, $82 a month. It's $7 a month more if you get on this program after September 15th.
So let me ask you the naive question. In a case like me, where I've got me and I've got my wife, I need two phones. Will they double up?
Well, I'm sure they will. This is all brand new and was just announced. I don't even have any customer-facing materials yet. Everything they send me is proprietary, and I can't send it to anybody, so I'm basically telling you what I can.
Yeah.
I'll give you more information after the show, and I'm sure next week we can talk more about it. But, Sprint is back on the table. We are endorsing them again. The reports I've been getting from everybody is the service is better, clearer, faster data, and now the deal, this lease deal, being able to take a new iPhone anytime it comes out, is pretty darn sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Let alone getting unlimited data.
Is Sprint one of the companies you talked about last week that has the voice over IP?
Yes. So the good thing about Sprint is they're fighting T-Mobile for number 3. So they're the two that are competitive. They're both offering voice over IP. They're both offering North America and Canada. They're both offering global roaming free data, in many countries. So Sprint is a good place to be. I personally, as you know, I like T-Mobile and I like Sprint right now, and those are the two I wouldn't hesitate to go with. Wow. But enough with that. We'll come back to that maybe in a little bit. I want to talk about a couple of other interesting things. You were saying how much you love Cortana.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anybody that has a Mac, Cortana is coming to Mac.
Wow.
The only problem is Microsoft could give a rat's tuchus about bringing it to you. It's going to be Parallels that's going to make Cortana compatible with Mac. So Parallels Desktop 11 for Mac will allow people to use Cortana on a Mac. So that is coming. We have that on our site for anybody who wants more information. But Parallels Desktop 11 will allow Mac users to use Cortana. Cortana is Siri on steroids. Have
you experienced it yet yourself, Joel? Have you upgraded to?
Not on my desktop. I've only used it on a handheld Windows phone. I've been too busy to get this thing fully integrated. So I'm going to do that probably this weekend. How about this one? Have you heard this, Robert? My only beef with Android has been security.
Mm-hmm.
And we now have two amazing products that may take care of that concern. One of them is a BlackBerry, Android-powered. Word is Samsung and BlackBerry are collaborating. How about that? That's
unbelievable.
There's a model called the Venice. From the information I'm getting, it's a slider. It's got the regular BlackBerry QWERTY keypad. It's got the Android screen, and it's got the BlackBerry encryption software. So this could be the most secure Android going. There's also another product. Have you heard of the Black Phone? I think we talked about it a month or so ago.
You know what? And that's when I heard about it, and it's just vaguely in my memory. Why don't you go ahead and update us on it?
All right. Black Phone is an Android-based model. Think BlackBerry because it uses something called Private OS. It's an enterprise privacy platform. I really don't know much about this product. This is a second-generation product, but I do know it's designed for all of those folks out there that are worried to death with all these hacks and security breaches. So I guess that's probably a pretty good product to be thinking about.
Oh, yeah.
And the other thing we have going on is this iPhone 6S. And the launch date, I'm going to predict, is going to be September 9th. And I'm going to predict that these things are going to become available in the stores on the 21st and from the carriers. And again, the only reason I'm predicting this is because Apple does it every year the same way.
Yeah.
So unless they change things up, expect an announcement on September 9th. The rumors I'm hearing are the new model, the 6S, will have an A9 processor, bigger, faster. We'll have 2 gig of RAM. We'll have a better 12-megapixel camera than the current one. Has the same basic design. We'll add this Force Touch feature, which we'll talk about next week. Supposedly they improved the Touch ID, which, quite frankly, I have problems with sometimes.
Oh, really? I've never had a problem with it.
Have you had issues with it sometimes? Sometimes works great, sometimes
no, never
not.
at all. The only issue I have is when I recharge my phone. I turn it off and recharge it every night. Of course, when you recharge it, it turns itself back on again. But when I want to activate it, I have to manually put the code in the first time. Then I have no problem with that at all.
Yeah, anytime that you turn it off or it reboots, you cannot use the touch. You got to manually input the code. And I think that's a good, security feature.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
Let me ask you this, because you and I've talked about the 6S, and I know and we can wait till next week if that's really what you want to do. But basically, there were some what's the word I want to use? Criticisms of the. Was it the 6 Plus? There's a difference between 6 Plus and 6S.
The bending.
Is there a difference?
Was it the bending you're talking about on the 6 Plus?
Yeah.
They've talked about that, and supposedly the new one overcomes that. They did something with the back, if I recall reading. And again, this is all speculation.
Sure.
Apple never releases anything. There's a gazillion sites, Engadget, MacRumor, Boy Genius, that come up with these leaks. And they're generally pretty accurate, so I think it's pretty safe to say.
Is 6 Plus and 6S the same thing?
Well, there's the 6 and the 6 Plus, and the difference is the 6 Plus is the big boy, and what they're supposedly coming out with is a 6S, which is the souped-up 6, and a 6 Plus S, and there's also talk of possibly a 6C, which is going to be a budget model, and I've seen a leaked shot of one in pink, which didn't exactly turn me on, but I'm sure somebody out there might want it.
Get it with a waterproof case, a nice pink one like that. Wouldn't you love carrying that on a chain?
They actually have the waterproof pink cases on sale right now. I almost bought one at Marshall's, but I couldn't do it.
Go ahead and give
Anyhow, anybody with any questions, I have all this stuff online at our site, www.drwireless.com, or you can contact me personally, joel@drwireless.com.
And we're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. He's got some really good stuff for you, exciting stuff. It's the stuff he's talking about. It's hard for me not to ask questions, and I know he would like me to just super glue my lips shut, but it's just impossible when this man gets on the air with me. So don't go away. We'll be right back with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, after these brief messages. You don't want to miss this, guys.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. And I got to tell you, I am so excited. Boy, what an exciting segment you had. I don't know what you're going to back that up with in this segment, Joel.
You know what? There's just so much stuff going on that it's really hard to choose. I do have to ask you, do you know who Platte River is? Does that name ring a bell?
It does sound familiar to me. I couldn't tell you anything in depth about it, but I've heard the name.
I'll bet you have. That's the IT company that Hillary Clinton decided to outsource to handle her private email.
Is that the Colorado company?
And a little interesting, a couple things that are interesting about them is, they're not a cleared contractor, for the government, and they have no experience, handling, government classified information. They're not allowed to. But the interesting thing is, and they're right now getting death threats. The CEO is totally freaking out. He says, he set up a simple email server and didn't bargain, for any of this.
Right.
But they're getting calls from screaming strangers and death threats and all kinds of crazy stuff. But here is what you may not have heard. So far, authorities say they found more than 60 emails containing classified information.
Actually, as of this morning, that's up to over 300.
Wow. Well, it says they flagged another 305 emails that may contain sensitive information for intelligence agencies to follow up on.
Right. You're right.
So bottom line is it's not a matter of if she accidentally sent 1 or 2 classified docs.
Well, it's not. Obviously, it's not just Platte River that doesn't have any experience with how to handle classified information. Hillary Clinton doesn't either.
Well, the weird thing is that was basically she printed 50,000 pages. She never gave them her server.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's a weird deal. In March, she turned over 55,000 pages of work-related emails to the State Department to go over. She deleted 31,000 emails she said were personal.
Well, as of this morning, unless I'm hearing it wrong, the FBI has possession of her server.
They now have the hard drive, and they can pull stuff off that has been deleted.
Yeah.
There's special technologies involved.
Yeah, this whole thing has got smoke coming out of my ears.
Oh, it's amazing. And have you heard about Trump now going after Zuckerberg, the CEO for Facebook?
No, I hadn't heard about it.
He is angry right now, his immigration platform.
Uh-huh.
He's calling for curbing, the H-1B visa work program.
Right.
And that program brings thousands of foreign engineers to the Silicon Valley. Microsoft also is huge using that. And, just to give you an idea, the government has processed 233,000 applications in the last fiscal year ending in April, for foreign workers to come to the U.S. It's not like we don't have enough people here who need jobs. We're bringing in people from other countries. So, I have mixed feelings. You want the most talent you can get, but at the same time, we got a pretty big talent pool here in the U.S. That's not being fulfilled.
And that would love the opportunity.
Absolutely. So that's interesting. And then another product, which I think I may have to buy from my wife. I think we talked about this previously. You've heard of Tile, the location tracking Tile?
I thought you were going to talk about that new sex drug that they announced yesterday.
No, that's the women's Viagra. I heard about that, too. They say, for women not to get excited. It doesn't do for women, I guess, what it does for men, but I'm sure that's a good thing.
It takes months to start working, so it's a lot like being married, right?
Well, you wonder, does Caitlyn Jenner take the pink one or the blue one?
I've lost control of everything I thought I knew about Caitlyn Jenner. Everything I thought was done was not really completely done, so I don't even know where we're at with this, the pink or the blue.
I couldn't tell you that, but I love that Viagra commercial where the guy's going to take a Viagra and it falls out of his hand and it falls into the gas tank of a Fiat.
Yeah, I love that too.
Have you seen that one?
I love that too. I do too. I love that too. You know what? It's just there's so many things going on in the world today that are depressing. When I was doing the news earlier, every day now it just gets more and more depressing to do the news because there's never anything good in there.
I know. Well, they say, no news is not interesting news, and bad news is interesting. So who knows?
Yeah.
I guess I love the good news stuff, but you just don't hear enough of it.
So let's talk about Sprint a little bit. Do you mind?
No, not at all. Not at all. I do want to mention one thing. I know we have you know what? I'll save this for next time. There's a new FM chip technology, which we'll save till next time. But yeah, let's talk about Sprint because this is a remarkable offering.
Well, you know what? Is this still, even though you probably have to sign a contract for the lease on the phone, but it's still a no contract for services, right?
You do. It's a lease on the phone. It's basically, they call it the iPhone Forever Revolution. Sprint customers can upgrade their iPhone anytime, and it's basically you get an iPhone 6 for $22 per month with the iPhone Forever, and you can upgrade it anytime a new iPhone comes out. You just bring in your iPhone to a store, or I send out a replacement. You send in the old one. It's that easy. And the upgrade's included in the price. There's no extra charge to do this. And as I mentioned, if you do it before the 10th, it's not $22. It's actually $15. They're giving a special $15 off until you do the next upgrade. So it's actually $75 a month for unlimited everything with your phone instead of $82, which is still a great deal. AT&T and Verizon don't offer unlimited data at any price.
So if you're switching, Joel, from AT&T over to Sprint, what do you do? Do you take your phone over to Sprint or over to you, and you take out the SIM card or whatever's there and replace the stuff? Are you able to still access your apps and everything?
In this case, with this offer, they require a trade-in. Now, what my recommendation is, you keep your iPhone. We trade in a beater, older phone.
Sure. Any old phone, right?
You keep the AT&T iPhone. We can unlock it, and can be reused for other stuff or resold.
Yeah.
But we can wipe it, unlock it, and we send Sprint an older. Doesn't have to be your last smartphone. It just has to be a smartphone. I got boxes of old BlackBerry, so
yeah, and I got boxes
of old. If the time comes,
I'll
give you a BlackBerry. You send that in to fulfill their trade-in.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about this next week because I'll have more info. But it looks like a wonderful opportunity for people like us who want the latest and greatest and don't want to have to come out of pocket to get it.
Yeah. And it sounds like, if you're talking about $85, That makes it, that we're talking about $170 for two of those deals, and I doubt that it would be $170.
No, it would be less. I'm sure that we have a program. I know that they'll have a family plan offering on this. So, and I'll give you the info. But on a single line level, to get unlimited data and to be able to get, the latest iPhone anytime it comes out and not have to come out of pocket is a dream.
Yeah, I think the
only part there's no upfront costs with these lease programs either. So,
the only thing that would
the
only thing that kind of concerns me is that with all the time that I've been benefiting by your wisdom, Sprint's been a hit and miss thing. They're good, they're bad. They're good, they're bad. They're good, they're bad. With my luck, the time I'd switch over, they'd go bad again.
Well, you never know. I mean, I'm with T-Mobile right now, and I'm very happy with them, and, because Sprint did go bad, but they have improved. And usually, all the carriers are pretty close right now. So I don't think anybody's really having bad experiences. It's just a matter of making the best choice, getting the best value, getting the best service, and that's what I do. I recommend people contact me, and we'll segue right into that. They can get me at joel@drwireless.com. They can visit us at our Facebook page, Facebook.com/drwireless, and on our website we have all this information, drwireless.com/blog. And I can also be called 310-400-4900. But it's all about making the right choice and getting the best experience with these carriers, and it's about knowing what's available, because there are programs right now that offer free roaming, but if you're dumb enough to continue to pay for your roaming with your carrier's greedy enough to continue charging, and they won't tell you that you do not need to pay roaming charges by changing plans.
And then with this voice over IP, if you don't have a cellular signal, you still can make your phone call, right?
Not only can you make phone calls in areas of no cellular service, but when you're overseas, you can call and be called from the U.S. to wherever you are, or from anywhere to wherever you are, and you can call back to your home market, the U.S., just by dialing your 10-digit number for totally free, no pluses or country codes or any other confusing nonsense.
Wow.
Doesn't get any easier.
Wow.
We have that with T-Mobile, and we have that with Sprint right now. AT&T and Verizon, the big boys, don't want to offer that. They want you on their network, apparently. I don't know why they wouldn't.
So then from time to time, if you're having a difficulty with your phone, or you now go to a Sprint store to get it taken care of, or can you still walk into an Apple store and have them fix it for you?
If it's an iPhone, you can go into an Apple store, or you can contact your carrier. Depending on what the problem is. I usually have our clients contact me because most of this stuff is correctable with a reset, or turning it on, turning it off, or deleting an email account and re-adding it. There's lots of fixes without having to leave the comforts of your home or office.
Right.
But for those who don't have me to rely on, yes, go to any Apple store or carrier store, and they will support you. And the beauty of iPhones is they're all the same. Any 10-year-old can help you with that.
The problem. Oh, shoot! The only problem with that is that when you're 70 years old, you need the 10-year-old to help you with it.
Well, that's because you can't read the fine print.
I can't even see the fine print.
That's why these screens are getting bigger, Robert. That's why that new Sprint plan with the upgrade anytime looks good, because the bigger they get, the more I'm going to upgrade.
It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Well, you know what? I'm going to have to seriously consider this, and that's really sounding really good. I don't know how many times I've told you that I upgrade when if my phone is having a problem, or if I'm running out of. Oh, by the way, when you're talking about this upgrade to this 6 Plus, or not 6 Plus, but 6S, what kind of memory are we talking about?
It's probably going to be exactly the same. I think I saw somewhere 2 gig RAM, but I think that it'll end up probably starting at 16, 64, 128. They haven't officially announced it yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to do. And then the other thing, I know we're about out of time, but I wanted to mention this. There is going to be an iPad Pro coming, 12.9-inch screen, and it's going to be like a MacBook Pro, but it's going to be an iPad with all the specs. It's going to be pretty much a professional type product. And I think that's going to be very neat. Everybody's been asking me, when are they going to come out with a jumbo screen iPad?
Sounds good.
Looks
Hey,
like
listen,
it's
give out
gonna
that
happen.
contact information one more time, Joel. We got to be gone in about 15 seconds.
All right, Joel at D as in David, R's and Rabbit, wireless.com. Our website is www.drwireless.com. Our Facebook page is Facebook/drwireless. And you can always call me at 310-400-4900.
Fantastic segments, Joel. You just got me so excited. I can't wait till next week to talk to you. Matter of fact, I'll probably talk to you before next week. But in any event, thank you so much. And for the rest of you, don't go away, because standing in the wings is our own Ray Mailer with his American Grid. He's going to be talking about, hey, there was an airport sold recently, and there's some technical solutions to the water usage here in California. He's going to tell us all about it. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Ray Mailer and his American Grid. Hey, Joel, thank you very much. Have a great week, buddy.
Have a great week to you. Bye-bye.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:07 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 87 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? Talking about heat, this man is going to burn a fire under you. He's going to get you excited. He's going to tell you about an airport that just recently sold. He's going to tell you about some water solutions that are out there. Let's get him in here and stop talking about them and start listening to him.
Bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye and singing, "This'll be the day that I die."
And now, from the National Archives of Public Planning, located in the basement of his Long Beach Reference Library, the unappreciated but widely acknowledged expert on past, present, and future infrastructure planning, let's welcome Mr. Ray Mailer and his American Grid.
Safe and sound after your well-earned vacation. How'd you enjoy that? Did you like spending an entire week with the family?
Oh, I did. It was great to spend time with the family. We went for hikes and rode and around a lake. Saw a whole bunch of lakes in a new part of California I'd never been to.
And you almost became a firefighter.
Yeah, that's right. Or we were chased away by fire. Sounds like you probably heard our story, yes, of our ill-fated, wonderful but ill-fated trip to Yosemite.
Yes, I did. So listen, it's great to have you back. You got some exciting information to talk to us about, and I'm anxious to hear about it. You really caught me by surprise. When did this airport sale take place? And I haven't told anybody what airport or anything yet, but when did it take place?
Well, the announcement was made 2 weeks ago, and the final transaction is probably still going to be about a year from now. But the agreement was reached between the City of L.A. agency that oversees LAX, as well as Palmdale and Ontario airports. And the City of Ontario has, for a number of years recently, been trying to wrest its airport free from the City of LA's authority, and they succeeded. And I guess about 2 weeks before the court date, which was supposed to be this week, the parties did reach agreement to go ahead with the sale.
So
the
let
FAA
me ask you,
and some other authorities.
This: if they go ahead with the sale, and Ontario no longer has the infrastructure support from LAX, will Ontario still have the ability, or even in the planning, to expand the airport, the two new terminals that they already have the room for?
They may be able to. The City of Ontario partnered with San Bernardino County to form a new joint powers authority, and they're calling it the Ontario International Airport Authority. So that should give more heft than the City of Ontario would have alone for financing any major improvements for the airport.
Mm-hmm. Because, obviously Ontario's a busy airport, and LAX was hoping that Ontario would take over a lot of the traffic. But I guess there was just this conflict with LAX about the popularity of Ontario. And then Ontario now is still a very busy airport, and they're going to have to expand that and get some more nonstop flights, right?
Oh, yeah. And as we've discussed in a previous segment, nonstop flights are kind of the key here. And I would think Ontario Airport is sufficiently far away with a big enough population that it should be successful in getting nonstop flights, specifically to its area, certainly on a par with, Orange County or perhaps Burbank. I would love to see that. LAX is heavily impacted. I've never understood why people would drive, 70 or even 100 miles to get to LAX. Yeah. With Ontario being, much closer, to the folks who live in the Inland Empire.
Yeah, if you could get more non-stops out of Ontario, because I'll be very honest, I will drive to LAX to get a more convenient non-stop flight, as opposed to getting on one of those cattle cars where I'm kind of on a junket from state to state to get to where I want to go. It's just a convenience thing. I'd rather try make that horrible drive into L.A. Or to LAX than to have to endure this airport-to-airport stuff.
Yeah, and I certainly appreciate it. I understand that. I do a lesser version of that because I'll often fly out of LAX instead of Long Beach, just for that same reason. It's always good to know when there's some mechanical difficulty and the plane can't take off that, there's another one leaving half an hour later. That's one of the nice things about LAX. But, it's well beyond its capacity, and I don't see why Ontario couldn't pick it up. It looks like they made a smart move by teaming up with the county. And I think their first job, actually, before making any significant improvements, because LAX did make a number of improvements, but I was surprised to see how low the passenger counts were. It was down to 4 million in 2012, which makes it on a par with tiny little Long Beach Airport, which is intentionally small.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised to see how much things had dwindled at Ontario.
And I wonder if a lot of that is because of the inconvenience of having to transfer planes and have direct but not nonstop. A lot of that has got to be that as well. But the other thing is that Ontario is in a perfect position for expansion in that LAX is not in a position for expansion at all. They've got no place to grow unless they want to put it out over the water.
You are absolutely right. It's physically constrained. The neighbors have, had enough with the noise. The neighbors are developing greater success in extracting more concessions from the airport. So LAX, is kind of hemmed in. And the answer is create some nonstop flights at a place like Ontario.
Yeah.
I think that would be an excellent development to see happen. I mean, planes only hold 150 people. No reason you can't set up nonstops from Ontario.
Yeah. Now, is that something that has to be approved strictly by the Department of Transportation or the FAA, or can an airport can the airline start offering nonstops on their own authority? Could United Airlines say, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna do a nonstop flight from here to New York twice a day"? If they wanted to do it, or would they have to still get approval for that route?
I think it's probably a little of both. I would suspect that Ontario probably has some unutilized nonstop slots that are regulated by the FAA.
So that's something that's issued to an airport, not necessarily an airline?
Well, it's through the airline to the airport. So I'm pretty sure the airline makes the proposal, hey, we want to, we're United, we want to start some nonstop service between Kennedy and Ontario. Mm-hmm. And as long as the FAA consents, then it's good, because I think there are air traffic control issues, just to make sure are well managed. We don't want planes running into each other.
Right, absolutely.
So the FAA has oversight over that, but it's not intended to restrict or control the economy. Its primary motive is safety. Just to make sure we can do it. And I don't, those two airports are so far apart that I don't see why they couldn't have, as long as Kennedy, for example, had available slots.
Yeah.
That you could go ahead and do that.
Yeah, because even Hawaii. If you want to go to Hawaii, if you want to have any kind of choice as to what times and stuff like that you're leaving, you got to go to LAX.
Yeah, and I would imagine that'll still be the case, for some time to come. Although, one of the signs that things are really improving in Ontario might be the opening of nonstop service to Hawaii, maybe eventually later you get a flight to London.
Yeah. Here's the thing. They used to have a flight to Maui from Ontario, but they had one. I don't know if it was one a day or one a week, but the United used to have a flight out of Ontario that would go to Hawaii. But you're right. I mean, I would give up the nonstop from LAX to Paris and take a one change of plane, if it was going to be just one, maybe in Denver or Chicago or wherever it might be, if I could leave out of Ontario. I would do that. But the problem is out of Ontario, if you want to go to London, you're going to make more than one stop, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, as soon as nonstop service starts opening up to some of the major cities east, then I think your scenario develops. Yeah. So if you've got the nonstop to New York or Chicago, and New York and Chicago have plenty of flights into various cities in Europe, then you could get to many places in Europe with a single stop.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you, and for me, that would be I'd fly into New York, get a hotel, have a nice dinner, get up the next morning, and off to JFK or LaGuardia, wherever I had to go to finish my trip. Yeah. That sounds great, and you wouldn't have that big long drive through all of LA's traffic,
at the beginning or the end of your trip.
Right, absolutely. Hey, listen, I don't know where the time went, but we've got about 30 seconds for you to wrap up and put in a teaser for our next segment.
Well, I'll tease you. Next time, when we come back, we're going to talk about water use. There are some, I gave it kind of a bland title, these technical improvements to water usage. I've got some news of how our water savings is coming along and El Nino news as well.
Oh, terrific. I can't hardly wait for that. And by the way, I'm looking out the window at a brown backyard. It just makes me want to cry. But the front of my house is all green and nicely landscaped. The perimeter of my backyard is all green and nicely landscaped. But my lawn in the backyard, it looks like a horseshoe of brown. Anyway, my friend, we'll talk about water when we get back with our own Ray Mailer and his American Grid. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Ray Mailer and his American Grid. And Ray's going to ask you a question. You know what he's going to ask you? He's going to ask you, are you saving water? Yeah, me too. Hey, Ray, you got the microphone.
Well, thanks, Bob. Well, I think the answer to that question is yes, we are saving water. In fact, we urban dwellers have saved about 120 billion gallons in May and June alone.
Wow.
And these 2 months of savings is enough water for 185,000 families for a full year. So if we can manage to keep this up.
But we have 33 million people in the state of California.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if we manage to save at this rate for a year, we'll save enough water for 1 million families. But yeah, we've got over 30 or 35 million people in the state. So. But it helps. It helps.
Well, you know what? And it does. But the one thing you said as we were moving out into the commercial break was you were talking about El Nino. I actually had that conversation a little bit earlier with a surfer dude, and I think you're about ready to give us some good news. So why don't I just let you lead into it?
Sure. Yeah, so we do have good news about El Nino. Folks have probably been hearing that it might be as strong as the one in 1997-98. Well, the National Weather Service has said in the last few days that this may be the strongest El Nino since we started tracking them in 1950.
Wow.
So we may be in for, well, they've even given it a great name. This may be the Godzilla Bruce Lee El Nino.
But here's the thing, and because I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to it, but I would especially look forward to it if these, let me try and put this in a nice, if the people we have representing us could do something to make sure that we could actually preserve this water, get it into the water table, into the aquifers, get it into the reservoirs, get it into the dams, and see if it couldn't actually pack up and do us some real good as opposed to watching it all flow down the Santa Ana River into the ocean.
Yeah, excellent idea, and I'll let you know that for the last 10, 12 years or so, a lot of the smaller water agencies, many of which you've never heard of, have been developing basically flooding grounds to capture at least some percentage of the water that normally has just flown into the ocean. So basically, whatever infrastructure we have built to this point, and if there are any projects close to finishing, I agree with you. We should finish them up, get them built, and then make sure the gates work properly, so that as soon as that water comes down, open them up, flood the land intended to be flooded until all the way at the top, and then when it starts percolating down, open it up again.
Yeah.
And just keep letting it percolate in.
Of course, we may need the El Nino just to put out the fires we got going on in California.
Well, that's right. Yeah, whatever fires are going on now, it seems like are going to be over by late in the fall. So do what we can. Try not to burn down any houses, and just know that if the firefighters can't get it out, Mother Nature looks like is going to finish putting them out.
Yeah. Well, hell hath no fury like a California resident.
Well, sounds good. Well, here are a few things. Speaking of things that infuriated California residents, do you remember the low-flow toilet?
Oh God, yes. And I not only the low-flow toilet, but I remember the first drought when we had to put bricks in our toilets.
Yes, exactly. Apparently, according to a Times article I read, that was apparently the first technical solution.
Nobody was happy about it.
No, yeah, pitchforks and how's that go? Anyway, angry citizens out at the door banging with their pitchforks. Anyway, so the water agencies have been really busy, and I kind of wanted to present this in two ways. First, the urban perspective, and then some things happening in the agricultural world. So one of the urban water agencies, the Inland Empire Utilities Agency, has been very busy for the last 15 years, building a number of new systems to better capture rain runoff, just what we were talking about, and redirect it underground before it rushes into the Pacific Ocean, and also developing some water recycling facilities. This Inland Empire Utilities Agency might be familiar to you, Bob. It serves almost 1 million residents in the Cucamonga Valley Water District, which I recall serves your home, the Fontana Water Company, Monte Vista Water District, and the city water departments in Chino Hills, Fontana, Montclair, Ontario, and Upland. So they do a lot of work there. And what they've been able to do in the last 15 years is increase their locally developed water supplies, which would be primarily groundwater or recycled water, increase that by 50% and reduce their dependence upon imported water by 40%. So I thought, that agency's doing a lot of the right things here. Yeah. Although I understand from you the bills are a little high.
Well, you know what? I haven't got my my new bill. I know that'll be coming fairly soon. But the bills have been my last water bill was $618.
Yikes! Well, I understand the brown lawn and back. Although
well, now I'm waiting to see what my next water bill is going to be now that I've got a brown yard and back.
I hope it has gone down significantly. But, some of your water bill, I'd be curious to research a little bit further about this Inland Empire Utilities Agency. But, supposedly, these locally developed water supplies do come at a greater cost than the imported water, provided that the imported water is available. So, in one regard, all of our California agencies need to use our water better and maybe develop some local supplies. Most water agencies do have some sort of groundwater supply, but they always have been looking to the imported water to make up the difference. But maybe shifting gears to agricultural water use. This is where 80% of California's water consumption happens. So although we're proud of ourselves and we pat ourselves on the back living in the cities, we still only use about 20% of the water in the state.
But it's a big part of the gross domestic product of California is agriculture, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a $46 billion industry each year. And this year, we do have losses that were recently estimated by UC Davis. $2.7 billion already in direct and indirect agricultural losses, and they anticipate another 600 million by the end of the year. So, I guess we're forecasting about $3.5 billion in losses against a $46 billion annual industry. So it's 7.5% or so of agricultural losses across the state's nearly 80,000 farms. And then to just emphasize this a little bit further, today the State Department of Water Resources declared that 21 of the groundwater basins in the state are critically overdrafted.
What does that mean?
That means we have withdrawn more water than we can pump in, and the level is getting particularly low. And
now, you say 21. How many do we have in total?
I'm not sure. But almost all of these 21 are located within the Central Valley.
So it's all agricultural type water.
Exactly. Yeah, just about all of them are agricultural. So they're hitting kind of a critical stage. This year, perhaps not too bad. I'm not sure what the state's agricultural department is forecasting should this wind up to be a dry winter. But
let me take you in kind of another direction real quick, Ray. Let's assume that we get this Godzilla El Nino that's coming up, which means that we're going to get an astronomical snowfall in the Sierras compared to what we've been getting in the past. And even though we're getting all this rain in the south and all this stuff's going on, and hopefully we're going to be able to start refilling the aquifers and the reservoirs and the dams that we have, at some point, if you have this exceptional snowfall in the Sierras, as that melts, does that continue to fill the aquifers, the reservoirs, and the dams?
Indeed, it does. Yeah, that's the beauty of snowmelt. The dams and the reservoirs and the aquifers will all get somewhat charged by the rainwater, which kind of covers through the winter itself, And then over the course of the spring and the summer, we get all that snow melt, and that continues to fill the reservoirs and the aquifers.
So is that something
hopefully,
that they can control?
We have great
the
snow
release
faster than we use it.
Yeah, is that something they can control the release of? I mean, that's things melting and it's really filling these dams and things quickly. But can they control that release so that the ground aquifers have an opportunity to absorb that?
I think in some instances they can. Certainly, in areas like we're in some of these intentionally flood areas. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what happens. Just kind of as the water runs by, open a gate, flood it up to the maximum, wait a couple of days, it's gone down again, open up the floodgate again, and just keep filling her up.
Well, glad there's smarter guys than me doing this.
Well, I wanted to tell you and the listeners that there are a few changes happening in the agricultural business that seek to adjust to the situation. The first is kind of an economic change. We have been our farmers have been slowly replacing our forage crops like alfalfa with trees and vines. And the economic reasoning for this is fruits and nuts are more lucrative for a farmer. Mm-hmm. And we've doubled this part of the agricultural economy in the past 20 years. And the water consumed produces a more permanent food production. But the trees and vines also need a more reliable water source so they can grow into production and then continue to produce. So, just by comparison, if there wasn't enough water for next year's forage crop, we don't lose the alfalfa plants and the corn and cotton plants and all those sorts of things. Mm-hmm. But we would lose the trees, so there would be kind of a capital loss in a way. So there's this kind of agricultural or economic adjustment towards plants that grow for many years versus annual plants, which has a plus but also a minus. And then the state recently passed a Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, and this is going to force local water agencies to develop plans to replenish and manage their underground water supplies for the long haul so they remain sustainable. And what this is ultimately going to do over a period of about 20 years is put a cap on the amount of groundwater that can be pumped in dry years. And this ultimately is going to lead to reducing the amount of land in agricultural production. So
it's really so what you're saying is that they're going to limit the agricultural environment to a specific amount of water that they can leach from the system. Exactly.
Soon there's going to be, rather than simply drilling the water well deeper, the local water agencies are going to have regulatory authority to say, nope, you can't go any deeper. Sorry, your well is dry. Terribly sorry.
Now, if the El Nino were to continue year after year for the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, would that become a moot issue?
Well, if we had water like that for quite a few years, oh boy, all of our groundwater aquifers would be recharged, plenty of snow, reservoirs full, and that buys us years of time. But that would be a wonderful development.
Well, Ray, this is actually, boy, I don't know where the time went on this one. This one just flew by. Really interesting stuff. You want to give us a teaser about next week, or you want to surprise us?
I'm going to surprise you.
All right. Hey, welcome home. I'm glad you're home safe and sound, and so is the family. I missed you around here, and I'm looking forward to talking to you next week. In the meantime, you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much, Bob. You too.
All right. You take care. Now, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about the birthdays for today, the secret daily teachings for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, an interesting but useless fact. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:40 p.m. Pacific time. It is currently 87 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what today is, right? Sure you do. It's somebody's birthday. It's August the 19th. Oh, boy, and I love this section. You know, and this is a guy that, we've all known, and he was a terrific, a terrific performer, actually. He was born in 1913, died in 2003, a fitness personality, most famously through a line of aerobic videos and television programs. Who could forget Sweatin' to the Oldies with Richard Simmons? Happy birthday, Richard. And here's another guy that everybody knows. He was born in 1946, served as the 42nd President of the United States. He and Tipper share the same birthday. Wonder if they celebrated together. Happy birthday, Bill Clinton. And then finally, you heard me, 1948, a former Second Lady of the United States and the wife of Al Gore, Tipper Gore. Happy birthday, Tipper. Now, today in history, in 1692, Salem witch trials take place in Salem, Massachusetts. The province of Massachusetts Bay, 5 people, 1 woman and 4 men, including a clergyman, are executed after being convicted of witchcraft. Executed? Well, how about burned at the stake? Well, in 1934, the first All-American Soapbox Derbies held in Dayton, Ohio. And then finally, in 1990, Leonard Bernstein conducts his final concert, ending with Ludwig van Beethoven's Symphony No. 7. Well, the quote for today comes from Christopher Morley. Christopher says, "Life is a foreign language. All men mispronounce it." Isn't that a fact? Yeah, absolutely it is. Well, it's time for our daily teachings for your life. And this is all about a positive mental attitude. I'm telling you, I keep preaching this to you every day. A positive mental attitude will control your life in ways that you just can't even imagine. And it'll make the lives better of everybody's life you touch. Promise you that. The teaching for today is the law of attraction says like attracts like. So, when you think a thought, you are also attracting like thoughts to you. Give it some thought. It works, folks. I promise you, it works. Well, time for the Harvard Business Tip of the Day. And the management tip today is to get people's attention, cut to the chase. With people being constantly bombarded with requests, it can be tough to get your colleagues' attention. That's why it's important to cut to the chase about what you need someone to do, when, and why. Whether you're sending an email, making a presentation, or talking to your boss. Start with what you want. Provide the most important information up front and ask for what you need. John, I need your advice about the product launch. Or set the scene. Provide just enough context so the audience can follow along. To refresh your memory, the event we have planned is. That's how you start that. And then how about this? Why don't you just explain the reason? What prompted you to deliver the message? We need to figure out how to motivate the vendor to meet marketing's deadline. That's how you do it. Yeah. And then finally, how about this? Connect to the big picture. Why should your audience even care? This is a critical step toward meeting our unit's goal of 65% customer retention. That's what it's really all about. Well, it is time, and I am ready for the interesting but useless facts for today. Got a number of them. I think you're going to find them interesting, so why don't we just get right to them. Did you know that the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are named in the Bible's book of Revelation, and they are conquest, slaughter, famine, and death, just in case you were wondering. Did you know that in ancient Greece, if a woman watched even one Olympic event, she was executed? Yep. By the way, did you also know that the original Olympic events in ancient Greece, all the men that did participate in that were nude. They were naked. They wore no clothes. Maybe that's why they had a problem with women watching. I don't know. Here's one for you. Sugar was first added to chewing gum in 1869. Ironically, a dentist named William Simple was behind the decision. By the way, where do you think the name simple syrup came from? Give that some thought. Well, the first perfect game in baseball history was achieved by John Lee Richmond on June the 12th, 1880. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, don't you think? Yeah. Did you know that according to the International Labor Organization, a member of the labor force is someone between the age of 15 and 64? There you go, if you're a member of the labor force. Did you know that an average beaver can cut down 200 trees in a year? I didn't say bushes. I said trees. Give that some thought, right? And do you know that anagrams amused the ancient Greeks, the Romans, and the Hebrews, and were popular during the Middle Ages? Yep, well, who knows? How about this? Henry Ford, father of the automobile, is also father of the charcoal briquette. Did you know that? Next time you're out there, in fact, Labor Day is coming up. When you get out there with that charcoal briquette and you're firing up your fireplace, send a little thank you up to Henry Ford, the father of the automobile. Yeah. And actually, the creator of the middle class, if you think about that. He's done a lot of great things. Did you know that today's top fuel dragsters take off with more force than the space shuttle does? Isn't that something? Think about that driver. Wow. Hey, did you know the wettest city in the United States is Quileute, Washington? It's the driest one is Yuma, Arizona. Quileute, never even heard of that. Yuma, I have. How about this? Did you know that the weight of air in a milk glass is about the same as the weight of 1 aspirin? That's interesting. That's kind of interesting. It depends on whether it's got smog contained in it or not, I suppose. Banana oil isn't made from bananas. It's made from petroleum. I don't know if I like that thought. How about this? 43.7% of all statistics are made up right on the spot. Now, not the ones I'm giving you, but 43.7% of them are. So 56.3% are the ones that I'm giving you. They're factual. Let me leave you with this. The average adult guinea pig weighs 2 pounds. Just in case you were wondering and just in case you actually cared. Now, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to talk about answering your emails. The first email we have today is from Jordan Davis from Chesapeake, Virginia, asking about the value of an inherited stamp collection. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages, so don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:52 p.m. Pacific Time. It is currently 87 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, we're coming down to the wire. It's time for me to answer your emails. And as always, I want to caution you to always seek the advice of a licensed professional in your area. Basically, the emails that we get sometimes are a little sketchy with the data you give us. We do the best we can to answer them, and we're giving you a good comprehensive answer based on the data that we have. That licensed professional is going to interview you, get all the information necessary to give you a comprehensive answer, and you'll be able to sleep better at night, I promise you. They usually save you more money than they cost you. You don't have to worry about registered letters or somebody tapping you on the shoulder, knocking on your door, or calling you on the phone. You can sleep at night, and if something does happen, well, one of their requirements for their licensing is that they have errors and omissions insurance. So if they make a mistake, they pay the piper, not you. Well, first email that came in is from Jordan Davis today from Chesapeake, Virginia, asking about an inherited stamp collection, and writes, I inherited a valuable stamp collection from a relative who had inherited it years earlier from another relative. If I sell it or part of it, how do I calculate my gain? I have no possible way of finding out how much the stamps cost the original collector. You know what, Jordan? You don't need to know how much the stamps originally cost to calculate the gain on their sale. When you inherited them, they received stepped-up basis. Their cost for tax purposes became their value on that date, or on the alternate valuation date 6 months later, if that was what was elected. Now, generally, gain or loss on a future sale will be determined from that amount. There are exceptions to this rule. Be sure you have a solid appraisal of the collection's value as of the date you inherited it, and keep it in your permanent records. If you think you might sell off separate items of the collection, get separate appraisals of the items in it as of the inheritance date, and you won't have any problems at all. That's peace of mind, right? Yeah. Well, next email comes from Tyler Dinn from Lincoln, Nebraska, asking about medical deductions for divorced people with regard to their kids. Now, here's what they're talking about. This is what Tyler wrote me. I'm a divorced parent with custody of my children, although my ex-husband claims the dependency exemption for them under the terms of our divorce. If I pay medical costs for the children, may I take a medical deduction for them, even though the children aren't my dependents? Well, Daryl, absolutely you can. Not everyone realizes this, because the general rule that you can take medical deductions only for costs paid on behalf of dependents did at one time apply to divorced parents too, but this has been changed. Today, if either parent claims a child as a dependent, a parent who pays medical costs on behalf of the child can claim a medical expense deduction for those costs. So keep that in mind. But you have to itemize in order to get it. Just keep that in mind. Next email comes from, I'm sorry, that last one was from Tyler Dinn, not Daryl. It was from Tyler Dinn. This one now is from Daryl Fleming from Riverside, California, asking about an IRA conversion. Says, my fiancée has an IRA she wants to convert to a Roth, but after we marry, our joint income will be more than the $100,000 limit for doing so. Can we get around this by making the conversion before our wedding day later this year? Well, Daryl, I'm sorry, but the answer to your question is no. Marital status for the entire year is determined by the status at the end of the year, and a conversion isn't possible for those filing a joint return with income over $100,000. It's also not possible to escape the income limit by filing a separate return, since separate filers are not eligible to make a conversion. Now, to be eligible to make the conversion this year, you'll have to find some way to reduce your joint income to under a $100,000 limit for this year, or remain unmarried at the end of the year. And I wouldn't recommend that. I just trust me, you don't want to do that. Last email comes from Aisha French from Kansas City, Missouri, asking about a home sale exemption, and says, I know that one must have used a home as a primary residence for 2 of the prior 5 years to take tax-free gain on its sale, but is the date of the sale included in the 2 years? That is, can I rent my home out for 3 years before selling it? Well, great question, Isa, and the answer to your question is yes. As long as you still meet the 2 of 5 year residency test, you can sell your home for a tax-free gain of up to $250,000 or $500,000 on a joint return, less any depreciation taken during the rental period, even after having converted it to a for-profit rental. Keep that in mind. I mean, that's good news, right? Yeah, that's good news for everybody. You, me, everybody. You know, it's just a matter of time before Congress wants to close that gap, but we'll see what happens. Well, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, Live 365 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Please allow me to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com, where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. On my next show, my expert contributor is going to be John Matthews in his series, The Conservative Syndicate. And my special guest, Sean LaFave, in a conversation with me. Never know what will happen. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then, when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. And at 6:15 tonight, you can catch me on theconservativesyndicate.net with John Matthews. In the meantime, I want you to stay safe. I want you to be happy. I want you to have a great time. And you know what? Until tomorrow, good night, everybody.